What is your most memorable street fight?
Oh, I got the one. My sophomore year of high school, I had this study period in my schedule that I just was in this classroom with random students from every grade, and we just like sat there and did our homework or whatever for 45 minutes. There was this girl who sat next to me who was just some girl. I mean, she was friends with my sister who was older than me, but I didn't know her too well. There was nothing going on between us whatsoever. We're not dating. We're not flirting. It's nothing. It's just we're sitting next to each other because we have this mutual connection. Well, somehow or another, it got out that I was sitting next to this girl, and it got back to her boyfriend, who was very upset about this. And instead of like coming to me and being like, why were you doing that? Or were you doing that? I just got a phone call from like 3 other people saying, Paul wants to fight you. And instead of me being like, why? I was like, all right, let's do this thing. In the lead up to this is weeks out. This has been scheduled in like October for Thanksgiving Day fight. You know, in the lead up to it, I was so cocky about how this fight was going to go. Paul, mind you, is significantly bigger than me. He's older than me. He's the captain of the hockey team. The dude's a beast, okay?
Oh, man.
And I'm like a twig. And I'm around other guys, my friends, who are genuinely tough. I adopted this mentality of, I'm going to beat the shit out of Paul. That attitude I had began to get noticed in school, and people bought it. They're like, oh, John's like hanging out with these guys. He's got to be pretty tough. Like, he's going to beat Paul up. And people began coming up to me being like, hey, dude, like, be easy on Paul. Like, we need him for the hockey team. He's the star player. Don't hurt him. And I'm like, I'll try not to hurt him. On the day, I go to the field after school where this fight's going to happen, and everybody knew, like, John and Paul are going to fight. And so I get there, and I roll to this place with at least 50 people in my posse. Just, yeah, you're going to kill him, John! Like, let's go! I'm at the field waiting for this fight to start, and it was scheduled for like 3:30 or something. 3:30 comes around, and Paul hasn't shown up. And I begin just talking Paul to anyone who will listen. He's scared of me. He's not even going to show up. This guy's a joke. And then like 30 minutes later, Paul shows up with one person with him, no posse, hops out of his car and begins walking up the hill to me. And everyone's like, oh, he's here, he's here. And I'm like getting ready, you know, and he's like maybe 10 feet away. And I'm like, while we're young, motherfucker. And then he beats the out of me. Didn't get a swing in. He had me on the ground, knocked out in like 5 seconds.
Oh.
And I like come to, and I'm looking around, and everyone's surrounding me like, you got knocked the out. That fight, so many people were there and saw it that it became like a meme about me.
Oh,
well, we're
man.
young John. Like, it was this whole horrible thing. But it humbled me in a pretty huge way. And I would say that that's when I began to think that street fighting might not be my thing. Maybe I should do something else with my life.